Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks was born on February 4, 1913 in Tuskegee, Alabama. She was the daughter of James Macaulay, a carpenter, and Leona Macaulay, a schoolteacher. When she was 2 years old, her parents separated and Rosa moved with her mother and younger brother Sylvester to Pine Level, Alabama, where they lived with her maternal grandparents. Growing up in the Jim Crow South, Rosa faced racial discrimination daily. Schools for black children were severely underfunded compared to those for white children. She attended a one-room schoolhouse and later enrolled in the Industrial School for Girls in Montgomery, a school founded by white liberal educators dedicated to the education of black girls. She then attended the Alabama State Teachers College for Negroes, now Alabama State University, but was forced to leave before graduating to care for her ailing grandmother and mother. In 1932, Rosa married Raymond Parks, a barber and a dedicated member of the NAACP. He encouraged Rosa to finish her high school education, which she did in 1933, a significant achievement for a black woman at the time. Rosa Parks became active in the Montgomery NAACP chapter in 1943, working as its secretary under E.D. Nixon, a prominent civil rights leader. She was deeply involved in investigating cases of racial injustice, particularly black women who were victims of sexual assault by white men, a widespread but largely ignored issue. One notable case she worked on was that of Reese Taylor, a black woman who was abducted and raped by 6 white men in 1944. On December 1, 1955, after finishing her work as a seamstress at Montgomery's Montgomery Fair department store, Rosa Parks boarded the Cleveland Avenue bus at around 6 p.m. She sat in the colored section, which was located behind the first 10 rows reserved for white passengers. As the bus continued its route, it became more crowded. When the bus reached its third stop, more white passengers boarded, and the driver, James F. Blake, noticed that the white section was full. He moved the sign separating black and white riders further back, and ordered 4 black passengers in the first row of the colored section to give up their seats for white passengers. 3 of the passengers complied. Rosa Parks, however, remained seated.
Why don't you stand up?
I don't think I should have to stand up.
You may do that.
Shortly after, 2 police officers arrived. As she was being arrested, she asked them, "Why do you push us around?"
I don't know, but the law is the law and you're under arrest.
Parks was arrested and charged with violating Chapter 6, Section 11 of the Montgomery City Code, which required black passengers to give up their seats when the white section was full. She was taken to the police station, fingerprinted and briefly jailed before being released on $100 bail, paid by NAACP leader E.D. Nixon. Rosa Parks' arrest led to an immediate call for action. That evening, E.D. Nixon, along with other civil rights leaders, including Joanne Robinson of the Women's Political Council, organized a boycott of Montgomery's bus system. They called for the black community, which made up about 75% of bus riders, to stop using the buses in protest of segregation. The Montgomery Bus Boycott officially began on December 5, 1955, the day of Rosa Parks' trial. That same day, the Montgomery Improvement Association, MIA, was formed to coordinate the boycott, and a 26-year-old Baptist minister, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., was chosen as its president. The boycott lasted 381 days, despite threats, violence, and economic pressure against black residents. Boycotters were arrested, homes were bombed, including Martin Luther King Jr. Baptist, and many faced job losses. However, the movement held strong. On November 13, 1956, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in Browder v. Gale that bus segregation was unconstitutional. The ruling was enforced on December 20, 1956, officially ending bus segregation in Montgomery. Despite the legal victory, Rosa Parks and her family faced severe retaliation. She lost her job, her husband was forced to quit his job, and they received constant death threats. In 1957, Rosa and Raymond Parks moved to Detroit, Michigan, where she continued her civil rights work. From 1965 to 1988, Parks worked as a secretary and receptionist for U.S. Congressman John Conyers, a staunch supporter of civil rights. She also co-founded the Rosa and Raymond Parks Institute for Self-Development, which provided leadership training for young people. She continued to participate in activism, attending Martin Luther King Jr.'s funeral in 1968, advocating for the end of apartheid in South Africa, and supporting black political candidates.